Metallica. Last year you were here as well. Then you began the show with a great sentence, "It's a great day to be alive." And that sentence was the good sentence to describe the gig. You really enjoyed being there on stage. Now, is that a result of the fact that, yeah, there's nothing to prove anymore for Metallica? You've done it all, world domination? Is that why it is?
Yes, that was our quest, to dominate the world, and now we feel better about it. No, it felt good to survive a lot of the internal things that the band went through, and make Saint Anger feel strong again, feel like a unit, and feel like really good friends, and playing music in front of a lot of people, which is what we live for.
Now, you've got an immense amount of songs. You got a huge back catalog. Now, the thing the fans always want to know is what songs will they play? How do you pick these songs? How do you choose them?
Well, we just write out all the songs and put them up on the wall and throw darts. No, I mean there's a lot of different ways. Usually, we'll play songs that are suggested to us by fans. We'll play songs that maybe we feel like playing. We'll play songs that are just staples of our set. You know, songs like Master of Puppets, Nothing Else Matters, that sort of stuff. And you know, what really is just whatever we feel like doing. But we do try and mix it up every show so that we never play the same set list as the night before, which is very, very cool for us, because in the past we used to stick with one set list and play it all the time, and it got kind of boring for us and a little bit robotic. But now that we've mixed it up a little bit, it keeps our attention, holds our attention pretty well, and makes the shows definitely more interesting and more exciting for us as well as the fans.
Now, that means that you know to play all the songs, because some bands, sometimes after some years, they forget how to play the song, but you know them all by heart?
Well,
Totally.
Well, there are some songs where we have to revisit them and listen to them and figure out, how did I play that guitar solo? I mean, one time I couldn't figure out how to play this one guitar solo, and I had to send someone out to get a Metallica songbook, and I had to read the music to figure out how I played one certain guitar solo. But it just happened once for me.
That's a problem for me, because I can't read music, so...
You improvise.
I can always remember the lyrics as long as they're written down right in front of me, which tends to happen on some of those songs, that all of a sudden you pull out from the past. You know, you want to do Stone Cold Crazy, or you want to do Hit the Lights, or something that you haven't done in years. You know, it is somewhat like riding a bike, but there's still new traffic lights and things you got to remember. Remembering the words, it's difficult. I mean, my memory is so horrible anyway. It's a good excuse to...
The fans will forgive that. Now, you play for more than 2.5 hours. Isn't that exhausting?
No, it's more like about 2 hours and 15 minutes, to be honest. Yeah,
it's approximately 2.5 hours.
It just seems like 2.5 hours, because we like to just stand there and you know, say goodbye to the audience, not once, but...
That takes 15 minutes,
Twice,
just standing
you know.
there and waving. I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
Personally.
You.
But isn't it exhausting being so for that amount of time on stage? Performing is something, that takes a lot of a man's body.
Yeah, well, yeah. It takes a certain amount of energy, and I rely a lot on, taking care of myself on the road, and we're all doing pretty good at that. But also rely a lot on the energy of the crowd. If I'm feeling down or something, I just look out there and I connect with someone, and I somehow tap into what they've got going on, and that helps a lot. I mean, right there, you know, being on stage is somewhat like an altered state. You know, you could be hurting physically about something, and you forget about all that. You forget about all of the things that are going wrong in your life, and you get to enjoy those moments. So, you know, we exert ourselves to, you know, maximum potential, and then after the show we suffer a bit.
Is it like when you come off stage, like, oh, just leave me for 1 hour?
Oh, it does take some time to kind of come down and relax, because I mean, like James said, when you're up there, I mean, the audience the energy that comes off the audience is just so immense. It really gets your heart pumping and the adrenaline flowing. And when you get off stage, I mean, that adrenaline is still kind of flowing through you. So there are certain ways where you can just relax. I mean, usually for me, I just stretching or something like taking a shower will just kind of relax me. And get some food in me. Yeah.
We also have a voodoo doctor out here with us who helps us, puts pins in us and cracks us and
While performing?
before and after, but not yet. That's maybe a good part of the show to introduce.
Blackened in the air, winter represent, knowing how you see, into obscurity. That's a motherhood, never early bird, never lose a day, never will admit, never. Fire, to begin with, being down to the day. Blackened, to begin with, being down to the day. Go on with Blackened. Kill them out of bed. Gotta take a chill. Nothing left to kill. Never say goodbye. Breathing nevermore. Never. Fire to begin whipping down to the day. To begin whipping down to the day. Go over Blackened. Blackened. Werchter, give it to me!
Toured a lot with this new album again. I mean, you've all your life you've done nothing else than touring, but apparently there's some new material coming up, if I'm not mistaken. So, will this tour end soon, and you will be writing some new stuff, or will you be writing new stuff while touring?
Well, you can't really stop writing things, which is okay. Being able to be creative at any moment is, it's a great gift. When you can't turn it off, it's awesome to feel that. And then there are times when you want to access it and it's not there, and you try not to freak out either. It will come back to you. But on the road, it seems like I feel whenever I'm really feeling good about life in general, being creative is a lot easier. And being out on the road, there's a lot of material that we're just coming up with in the rehearsal room. We have a little jam room that we kind of take the needles out and break the rust from the night before. And usually it starts with a riff. Someone comes up with something, and then we start jamming, and it really helps inspire the gig too, because we feel that there's a meaning why we're together, and a magic between us still after 22 years.
About touring in Europe, I once heard that sometimes you fly over your family to Europe, that they all stay at one place in Europe, and that you fly from that place to another place to do the gigs. Is it correct?
Yeah. What we do is we base in one city, and we'll plop, the whole center of like, family or whatever, and we'll fly out to shows, and then after the show is done, fly back to that base. We just call it basing, we sometimes we base in Paris, sometimes we'll base somewhere in Italy, or we'll base out of London or whatever, and just fly to the show and then fly back directly after the show. So it's nice because you're actually in the same bed for about a week or so. You can unpack your bags. You get some sort of familiarity with your surroundings. You can actually make plans in that city for like a few days in advance and do it. So it kind of helps maintain some sort of balance while amidst all this craziness.
Do you then as well have the time for your own, like for example, you collect old guitars? Do you sometimes go out to look for shops to find that one missing collector's item guitar?
Well, I have a problem with that. One of my things that one of the vices I'm working on is collecting things. There's something about I get in a mode. I think if I collect all of a certain thing, that I will be a whole person or something, and it's so insane. But I love cars. I love guitars. I've been on collecting pictures of angels out here in cemeteries recently, and collecting antique crucifixes. And you go into certain towns and you just get on a kick about something, and then it gives you something to do while you're on tour. So buying a nice camera and going out and taking some cool pictures has been what's happening this time for me.
Okay, I hope you find some nice things to photograph. Thank you very much for dropping by Metallica.
Are you with Metallica? Then give me an M. I said give me an M. Give me an E. Give me a T. Give me an A. Give me an L. Give me an L. Give me fuel. Give me fire. Give me devil to the side. Turn on, I see red. Drilling cracks, crack my head. Not too told to pay me dead. And I see red. Running plus new black and white. War horse, war head. Fuck a man, run up on dead. New black and white. Fire, give me down to the side, yeah! Yeah! Turn on beyond the phone. Solar future, spit out hope. Put your face upon the crow. Join the crash. In lights, in lines, another joke, and live too fast. Live way too fast, fast, fast. Oh, oh, ooh, I'm bored. Fuel is pumping engines, running hard, loose and clean. In my blood, turning my direction. Quench my thirst with gasoline. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that what's a desire. Yeah,